Good evening. Welcome everybody to this Public Schools of Robeson County September Board meeting. Our first item is a moment of silence. At this time, I'd like to have a moment of silence. Thank you. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance by St. Paul's Middle School. Everybody please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My name is Giovanni Andrade Reyes. I am from St. Paul's Middle School, and it is an honor for me to be here.
Thank you. And please note that Mr. Vontae Leach's absence. I think Mr. Henry is running late, so if he comes in as well, Mr. Henry Brewer. Next up is adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, before the agenda is adopted, we need to amend the agenda that was sent out to the board to add a second item under 4C, sole source, and that should be a second contract with Lexus Learning Systems LLC for letters, LETRS.
Okay, so does everybody got that on section 3?
3C.
3C, add letters to the end of it, and you have that in front of you as an action item?
Lexus Learning Systems, Inc. for letters.
I need adoption to amend the agenda.
Yes.
Now I need adoption to amend the agenda.
The motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt the agenda. Motion's made by Ms. Crystal Monroe, second by Ms. Melissa Ocean. All those in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Now approval of minutes.
That you know. Now information items. No minutes. I'm
For
sorry.
approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion to approve by Ms. Lotions, second by Ms. Christy Fields. All those in favor? Information items. Monthly Impact Award, Mr. Jamal Campbell.
Good evening, Chairman Trey Britt, Dr. Williamson, and school board members. I'm here tonight to recognize the September 2025 Impact Award recipients. Our recipients exemplify our district's one team, one goal. These individuals work collaboratively to cultivate a supportive and thriving school environment. We want to thank Mr. Austin Jacobs and Chick-fil-A for sponsoring this month's gift certificates. Also like to thank Mr. Brandon Ventura and Sign City for sponsoring our plaques. At this time, if I can have all our board members and Dr. Williamson to join me at the podium, please. And we have a special guest with us tonight, Mr. Austin Jacobs and the Chick-fil-A mascot.
I'm just going to set this right here, okay?
We want to recognize our first recipient for classified employees, Ms. Jerry Lynn Martin from Tanglewood Elementary School. She's a teacher assistant. Ms. Jerry Lynn Martin, if you're here, please come up. Give her a hand. We're proud to recognize Ms. Jerry Lynn Martin, teacher assistant at Tanglewood Elementary School, as the district September 2025 Classified Impact Award recipient. Her principal, Dr. Jessica Floyd, described her as a teacher assistant whose outstanding dedication and hard work shine each day through her support of both students and staff. She models patience, compassion, and unwavering commitment to excellence, stepping in whenever needed with a positive attitude and consistent reliability. From providing small group and one-on-one support that enhances student learning to helping foster classrooms wherever every child can thrive, Ms. Martin's tireless effort and teamwork leave a lasting impact on her school community. As a district, we celebrate and honor her for her powerful difference she makes each day. Thank you so much for the work that you've done for us.
Okay.
I want to have Chick-fil-A to actually present their certificate.
Jamal, what about her name? She said, let me get a picture with the calendar. I said, the calendar.
And if we could have this Martin's family to come, please join her.
Jamal, where you going? You're in charge. Come on, you can make me look slender.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
For our certified employee, the public schools of Robeson County, Lieutenant Ms. Asia Bracey, to please come to the front, Ms. Asia Bracey. The public schools of Robeson County is proud to recognize Ms. Asia Bracey, academic coach at East Robeson Elementary School, as a September 2025 Certified Impact Award recipient. Her principal, Mr. Chad Brewer, shared that Ms. Bracey has had a transformative impact on our campus, serving as a vital support for both teachers and students. Through targeted instructional coaching, data-driven guidance, and personalized professional development, she has elevated teaching practices and helped close learning gaps across grade levels. Ms. Bracey's commitment to fostering a culture of collaboration, continuous improvement, and high expectations has empowered educators and increased student learning. We celebrate her dedication and impact on both staff and students across the district. Thank you so much.
Why you saying this?
Please come up.
He's an academic coach. Gotcha. At East Robeson.
Mr. Austin, if you can,
Thank you guys for having us. It's an honor and a privilege. On behalf of Chick-fil-A Lumberton, congratulations to the two recipients tonight, and God bless.
On behalf of the board, thank you, Ms. Martin and Ms. Bracy, for the job that y'all do. We greatly appreciate it. Next item is a special recognition by our Senator, Mr. Danny Britt. Mr. Danny Britt, if you would come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. I'd like to call up Miss Betty Graham, Miss Meredith Graham, Mr. Scott Graham, and Noah and Emma. Y'all are here. So first, I'd like to say it's an honor and privilege to be able to do this. I have with me an order of the longleaf pine that was conveyed or conferred upon Danny Lee Graham posthumously from Governor Josh Stein. And I don't think in the last 10 years I've been in the Senate, I've seen a single one of these happen posthumously. This is probably the first one I've seen done this way. I would say that he absolutely earned it, not just the over 500 games he won, the 14 state champs he had, but the countless lives that he influenced. Still concerned that he was such a big Carolina fan. The Braves are doing bad. I know he'd be upset with that now too. The Carolina thing I can get past. He absolutely made a difference here in Robeson County, made a difference here in Lumberton. And again, it's an honor and privilege to be able to hand this to the family as a small piece of appreciation. I would like to recognize there were many board members that were involved in this, as well as other individuals at Lumberton High School that reached out to me about trying to make this happen. So there are a lot of folks that are here today that helped accomplish this, and it is a huge honor. It is the highest civilian honor in the state of North Carolina. Ms. Graham.
Thank you, Senator Britt, for all you do. And Graham family job definitely deserved. Definitely deserved, for sure. Next item is the Keenan Fellows, 25, 26. Dr. Wendy Dorsey-Carr.
Good evening, Chairman Britt, Dr. Williamson, and board members. This evening, we are proud to recognize two of our outstanding educators who have been selected as Keenan Fellows. The Keenan Fellowship is a highly competitive award that connects teachers with innovative STEM experiences, giving them the tools to bring a real-world learning back to their classrooms. So this evening, I'd like all the board members to come up first, and then I will recognize. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Connie Locklear.
Thank you. You want it in front of?
We'd also like to recognize Sarah Griffin Green from Roland Norman. She was not able to be here tonight. So congratulations. you want Dr. Connie, because she can tell more about the, Dr. Connie, you want to talk a little bit about how you earn the Keenan Fellowship?
Thank you for this great honor. I would like to, first of all, thank my Lord and Savior. Without him, I would be nothing. He is most important in my life. I will be working with the North Carolina American Indian Heritage Commission with Secretary Pam Caswell with the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, as well as the Director of Education, Ms. Christy Norris, and the Director of the North Carolina American Indian Heritage Center, Mr. Kerry Bird, and Assistant Director, Mr. Quinn Godwin. I've already been part of several initiatives. One was Let History Speak workshop, and in that workshop, we were given the opportunity to critique some lessons. And the very first critique I had was, where's the native voice? There wasn't a native voice represented. So the next opportunity I had, I actually was part of the American Indian Heritage Center Commission meeting, and also with the Burroughs Welcome Fund. And there will be meetings with oral history. And I've also had the opportunity, I don't know if you've had this opportunity, but this is really awesome. We should take our kids there. East Carolina has Blackbeard's Queen Anne's Revenge Project. So they actually have these artifacts that they have discovered from nearby in our community on display there. So we had the opportunity to go there and see a lot of those artifacts. And the goal is to write curriculum around Native American history and culture so our students can see themselves in the curriculum and connect it to our math, science, all of our stuff that all of our curriculum that we're teaching. So that is the goal, to make sure that our students see themselves in the curriculum. I am honored. After 32 years, I was asked in 2002 to be a Keenan Fellow. And it was during that time I was working with North Carolina Teacher Academy, and I wasn't able to. So here we are, full circle again, which is what we believe in as Native people. So thank you again, and I appreciate your time and your presence here.
Let me ask Mr. Manny Graham if you'll come forward, please. Manny, congratulations on being selected for cohort 10 of the Aspiring Superintendent program. That program is sponsored by North Carolina School Superintendent Association, headed by Jack Hope. It is the highest level of training that is available to educators, and we're just very honored. Amanda is also a nationally certified, one of the best in the nation relay coach. And so, again, we're just so honored and privileged. I would make mention that our entire cabinet has been through the training. So you join a great group of individuals. But again, congratulations. You do outstanding work for us. No question about that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations.
I just want to thank the cabinet and board members and Dr. Williamson for this opportunity. I'm truly excited to learn and grow in my leadership. So thank you. Apologize. Yeah.
Next up, we have the 25-26 data, Dr. Wendy Dorsey Carr and Dr. Deborah Dallas.
Good evening, Chairman Britt, Superintendent Williamson, and board members. Tonight, we would like to share our 24-25 end-of-year EOC and EOG accountability data. During this evening's presentation, we will share some achievement highlights, comparative gains and proficiency between PSRC and the state, comparative district achievement data by grade level, data by specific school, and school designation information. And we promise we will do that as quickly as possible. So we wanted to start off by highlighting several data points from this year's data. So the district was just one school away, missing by only 0.08 of a point from coming off of the low performing list. 23 of the district's 36 schools met or exceeded growth expectations. We had 19 schools, which is 52.7%, were identified as low performing in 24-25. That is down from 26 schools, which was 72.2% the year before. We had 8 schools this year who exited the low performing status. Several of our schools improved their overall letter grades, with 3 moving from an F to a D and 1 moving from a D to a C. Our graduation rate is up to 85.6%, which is compared to the previous year's rate of 83.5%. Students scored higher in 13 of the 15 math and reading assessments, with only our 3rd grade reading and our 8th grade math trailing 23-24 results. So these numbers are from our respective internal results review reports, and they consist of combined overall growth and proficiency from 23-24 to 24-25, and it includes that data for the public schools of Robeson County and the state for grades 3 through 8. So as you can see, public schools of Robeson County surpassed the state in gains and proficiency in almost all areas, except for 8th grade. Now, please remember that in 8th grade this year, we did have a new 8th grade science test, and all of our 8th graders also took Math 1 for the first time this year. The table on the left displays the difference between our gains in proficiency and the state's gains in proficiency in math from 23-24 to 24-25. With the exception of 3rd grade math and 8th grade math, the public schools of Robeson County had greater gains in proficiency in math than the state. Please note that we did have a 1.3 positive gain in 3rd grade math. Similarly, the table on the right displays the difference between our gains in proficiency and the state's gains in reading from 23-24 to 24-25. With the exception of 7th and 8th grade ELA, we had more gains in reading proficiency than the state. Please note that 7th and 8th grade did have positive gains, but we were slightly behind the state. The table on the left displays the difference in gains of proficiency for the public schools of Robeson County and the state gains in proficiency for Math 1, Math 3, English 2, Work Keys, and ACT. With the exception of Work Keys, we had significantly higher proficiency gains than the state. Math 3 and our ACT data is especially strong. The table on the right displays the difference in gains and proficiency for the public schools of Robeson County and the state for L, which is English Learner Progress, L Exit, 4-year graduation rate, and ACT Work Keys. With the exception of EL Exit, public schools of Robeson County had greater gains in all areas.
So we just took an opportunity with Dr. Dallas to look at our comparison with the state. Now we're going to look at just PSRC and how we have grown from 23-24 to 24-25. So these first charts show our overall EOGs by grade level. And as you can see, we saw gains in every grade level as we talked about previously, except 8th grade where we saw a dip. And once again, this is because of the new science test and all of us giving Math 1 for the first time. We also saw a slight decrease in 3rd grade. In 3rd grade this year, they took the NC PAT, which was a different form of the EOG for the first time. However, it was comparative to what we saw with the state in a dip in 3rd grade. 3rd grade reading. District reading, as you can see, we saw an increase in every grade level except for 3rd grade. And as we discussed previously, this is mirroring what the state saw in 3rd grade. And we talked about the NC PAT, which is a new assessment that they administer to determine which EOG they would take. District ELA math, what we see is we saw a gain in every grade level except for 7th. And this is not a great comparison. In 8th, it is not a great comparison in 8th grade because 8th grade previously, most of the schools took the 8th grade EOG. And this year, all of our schools took Math 1. So it is a completely different test that we're putting out for 8th grade this year. Then for science, you will not see a comparison. This is a brand new test this year, and so this is something we cannot compare. This sets the baseline just as it did for everybody in the state, showing where we started with the new test and the new standards. And so you can see pretty much the same in 5th grade and 8th grade. Now, if we look at the high school EOCs, what you'll notice, we see gains, as Dr. Dallas had shared, in all areas. Biology, you will not see another chart next to it. Same thing. They had new standards this year and a new assessment. So there's no comparison to that old assessment. This next chart are the other indicators that we see for high school. And so you'll see the first 4 deal with work keys. And so it's the work keys bronze, gold, silver, and platinum. We saw a slight increase in bronze and saw a slight decrease in the others. Math rigor, we saw a slight increase. Graduation rate, as we spoke about, we saw increase. ACT work keys, we saw an increase, and we saw a tremendous increase in our ACT scores. And as Dr. Dallas has already shared, we saw L progress, 8.8% gain. And then with our exit, we saw a 9.1% gain. And so now we're going to take a look at our individual schools.
Hold on one second there. We got a question from Ms. Christy Fields. Dr. Dallas, good job on putting all this together as well. I will comment. Ms. Christy Fields?
So on here with the 3rd grade reading, how is this being remedied to improve our reading scores?
So at this point, we have already started regrouping our kids. We've already looked at teachers and where their strengths were to ensure that we meet the needs. So if certain teachers were stronger at teaching reading than math, helping support them and moving some of our teachers around to support that work. We've already worked with our teachers and principals looking at intervention plans and individual reading plans for our students to start working on those pieces. This is a statewide dip, and this was a new assessment. So this year, they will be more accustomed to that new assessment as teachers also. So that will help with their continued coaching that we support as we work with our teachers.
And what will you do for K2?
K2 will continue. So there's a updated version of Skills Block that is more intentional to help support the needs of our kids. And so right now, all of the teachers have already started using the new Skills Block, which is an updated version that goes more in depth to help address those phonemic awareness and phonics skills so that they can easier decode the text that they need to encounter in 3rd grade.
So break that down for the people who are listening to you tonight on YouTube.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question. So basically in K2, what we're really looking at is helping students identify sounds of words or individual sounds of words, but then also how do we attack a word? So if I see the word cat, how do I sound that word out? So providing structured assessments to all of our kids to determine what is your need. So I may have a different need than Mr. Bradley. And so each of us is going to get the instruction we need based on our assessments that we administer to determine how do we help tackle those decoding skills or reading skills so that you can better comprehend the text.
And does that come with teacher input?
For the teacher input as far as what they're doing, yes. So they have to look at the individual students and then determine what additional needs there are and identify additional resources based on their acknowledgement of those individual students.
And I'll just add to that, Ms. Fields, is also, we talked earlier about having that DIBELS protocol where they're already getting ready to do their Amplify, their BOY. So they'll have that beginning of the year assessment. So they'll have that to be able to break down and analyze right away. And then they'll be developing an individual reading plan for those students in third grade. And they also have their end of year second grade data that teachers can use. So they've already been sitting with their school improvement teams, working through protocol to really identify the specific areas of need. And we also did just complete our beginning of grade, third grade assessment that all third graders take across the state. So that's also additional data that teachers and principals can utilize to start looking at where students are already performing on third grade standards. Okay. So
Dr. Manning's
sorry.
got a question.
Sorry.
This follows up with Miss Christie. I'm wondering, because our scores are relatively high on the DIBELS or Amplify, whatever you want to call it, K2. I'm wondering if there's a mismatch between the tested in K2 and then the tested in the third grade because of that dip in third grade reading. In other words, it seems to give us folks hope, the DIBELS testing, EOY, our kids did really well on that testing.
Right.
Then you have your third grade testing, which they took a nosedive in reading. So I'm wondering if it's a false indicator, if there's a mismatch in there. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. And I would say to that question is they're actually assessing different things, right? So in our K2, that DIBELS assessment, it's really assessing foundational reading skills, the phonics, the word decoding. It doesn't heavily assess comprehension and vocabulary until the middle of second grade. So in K2, we see strong foundational skills. What we need to get better at in third grade is tackling comprehension skills and strategies for third graders and their endurance.
But I guess my point is, and I agree with everything you said, you're absolutely correct. My point is, we have to find a way, we meaning educators or somebody, DPI, to make a connection there because it's too much of a dip in third grade. Yes, you need foundations. We understand that. You need phonics, but we've got to make a connection because as a parent, I'm jolly. Ooh, my kid did wonderful in DIBELS in the year. Then the third grade, the kid didn't even score passing. You see what I'm saying?
I do. And once again, when I look at the assessment, when we talk about DIBELS, some of those assessments are a minute, 2 minute, right? They're time short. When I look at a third grade, end of grade, you're talking about students having to take 7 or 8 passages. It's more of a reading perseverance, right? They have to be able to sit and stay engaged and comprehend over several passages. So we need to really work on kids' reading persistence over the year because it's a different assessment. The amount of time is one major difference between the two assessments. So we need to build that throughout the year to make sure kids can engage in text, apply comprehension strategies so that they can be successful.
And I agree. One more point, Mr. Chair. I agree with you totally. So maybe in the second grade, they need to start with those paragraphs and, immerse that with the DIBELS, not testing, but bring that in and let the kids start because I do believe those kids are smart.
Absolutely.
I mean, but we're not reaching them how to master that third grade test.
And to your point, I do think it's about sustained reading, that is something we need to continue working on is how much time our kids are reading and at each sitting or how long are they reading at one time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dr. Williamson, then we'll get Mr. Craig and Mr. Henry.
Dr. Carr, Dr. Dallas, So letters will help with the question, Dr. Emmanuel. So talk about that, please.
So for letters, which is a reading program that all K-5 teachers are required to take in North Carolina, it has 2 volumes. Volume 1 is heavy on the foundational skills, and then Volume 2 starts to move into that comprehension piece. So they do that over 2 years. They have to do different activities. We call them bridge to practice activities, where they start applying those strategies in the classroom. We're starting now. This year was our first year that we had almost 300 teachers in our classrooms that had finished letters. This year we'll have another 100 that will start letters. So we're starting to see some payoff of our teachers having that training and what we're seeing in the classroom, because we want them to be able to apply what they're learning in letters in the classroom. It's a very intensive reading PD.
Thank you. Kind of going back to what Ms. Christie said, you just explained the letters program. It, gave a definition of the volumes there. Let's go back to these folks that's got the first graders, new kids in school, and we keep using the word dibbles, and I'm going to say for myself and those, give us a definition of what that is. We use the word amplify. We hear that one all the time. I don't think I've heard anything else tonight that was new, but for myself and for the folks too that, they don't use this language all the time. Kind of tell us a little bit about that. And I have one follow-up after.
Right. And so last time we did share some data with you. We had Miss Brandy and Miss Kim up here. And so remember, we talked about Amplify is the company, right? That's oversees the reading assessment. M-Class is the platform, and it's Dibbles, which is the assessment that actually assesses 5 measures or subtests that students take. So at each grade level, they'll take a different assessment. There's some overlap, but that's basically, it is a reading assessment that's a formative or a diagnostic reading screening. It does not say whether I'm proficient as a reader, but it lets me know what my risk factors are for not becoming a reader. Remember, we talked about you can be blue, you can be green, yellow, red. Okay.
And one other thing, might not pertain to you ladies tonight. What is it? We've got a new program, Infinite Campus, and parents will be able to access that. Ms. Lewis, the parents will be able to access that. So how close are we to where we're getting where if parents are able to access it, or I know that's a work in progress. I hear some can or can't, but I'm saying all that from the standpoint, if parents can get on there and see what their kids are doing, the quicker they can do that, the better. Might not be with testing, but just having that access to it. So kind of where are we at with that?
Mr. Bobby, do you want to speak to our progress on the parent portal for Infinite Campus?
Good evening, Chairman Britt, Dr. Williamson, board members. So this is the first transition that we've had to a new student information system in approximately 15 years, if my mind's right. So yes, there are a few hiccups, and our staff is still working through ensuring that everyone can get in. It is our goal by the 15th to have everything transitioned over to Infinite Campus. But if there are issues that parents are still facing, then they should contact their digital teaching literacy coach at each school that can help them with that.
Okay, thank you.
But also, Mr. Craig, to your point, to let parents know they should be receiving a Home Connect letter, letting them know how their child performed on that assessment, right? And it breaks it down where their strengths were, what they can do at home to support that. If the child then receives an individual reading plan, they'll also be notified of that, and it will tell the parent what skill they're working on in school. Okay.
Mr. Henry?
In simple terms, is it fair to say that we got 10 schools with Ds and 9 with Fs? And looking at letter grade?
So we have a document that you'll have that will lay all that out. So we'll be able to run through each of those for you, okay? That will be coming.
Mr. Terry?
So if you look at 8th grade, you say that everybody is now taking the Math 1 EOG in 8th grade. Okay. So what was there some sort of the dip in the scores this year we experienced, is that because maybe the prep that they received in the 7th grade was not in alignment with the 8th grade, or what's going on with that?
So it's the first year of implementation. So we usually see an implementation dip when we implement a new curriculum. So it is new standards for our 8th grade math teachers. So part of it is we prep them for some of the training and are providing additional training. So this is new because it's a Math 1 EOC. So it's a high school course. And so one of the things that we see is when we first implement something new and teachers are learning it, we see a dip. But also when students for the first time encounter an EOC or a new type of assessment, we see a dip with those assessments too. But the 7, 8 did prep them. Our Math 1 scores are actually higher in 8th grade than they are in the high school. So kids are doing better in 8th grade than they are in the high school. And what we're seeing is because it's a year-long course, it gives them more time and opportunity to practice. So what we have done is already put things in place, such as having our math coach this year schedule training for all of our 8th grade math teachers to continue help building their skill set to support the students in understanding the Math 1 standards.
Can you speak on what East Robeson Primary is doing different in 3rd grade than many of the other schools in the county? They're obviously, I mean, their scores were, in 3rd grade were significantly higher in a lot of areas.
So we're about to go through each school, but East Robeson actually took a slight dip this year, but every, in their school, they take and hire additional interventionists or retired teachers that they have utilized for only mostly 3rd grade to support. So they may have, I think they had 4 or 5 interventionists that just spend extra time in 3rd grade to support that grade level. So that is how they utilize their Title I funds to support their 3rd grade students, specifically targeting a ton of small group instruction in that grade level.
So what you're saying is they may be receiving additional support in the 3rd grade because they're not having to spread out those interventionists and additional personnel across multiple grades.
Yes, so they decided to use their Title I funds to hire additional title interventionists, and all of their interventionists are pretty much supporting 3rd grade to support those students.
Dr. Williams?
Yes, 2 things. One, so Terry, part of that is their denominator is different. That makes a difference on that. Speak to Math 1, what the state board has decided, DPI. They're moved in the same direction that we're already, so we're a couple years ahead, please.
So this state is actually looking at making everybody sort of move towards a Math 1 in 8th grade because they want to accelerate everybody having the opportunity to take higher level maths. And so this is the move that they're doing. Even the training that they're about to roll out is focused on 7th and 8th grade, targeting those grade levels to help support that additional support in rolling out higher level math. They also have everybody that's getting certain levels in their math, forcing them to take advanced math, because what we'd have happen is students may not want to take a higher level math. And so now if you get a certain score, it is highly encouraged, unless the parent says no, that you take that higher level math.
Crystal Monroe?
This goes back to the portal that you guys were talking about. So I know a while back we talked about the parents without internet service. So how is any of this going to benefit the parents or the students, especially the younger ones, like resources to get the extra help at home or to be able to get on there? How is that going to affect them? Do we have something in place for them?
So we typically will not house a lot of our instructional resources in Infinite Campus. Those will be housed on our website. So those are things that they could access without even having Infinite Campus access.
Right, but like if they don't have internet, how are they going to access going onto the website?
So if they don't have internet access at any time, we always recommend parents reach out to the school. We can always make packets. We can print things out. We can offer a workbook. So if that's a challenge, they just need to let the school know and we can work with
Do
the
they
parent.
know though?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the school.
Because we never want that to be a barrier.
Okay.
All right, got Dr. Manuel and Terry, and then we're going to move on and let these ladies finish the rest of their presentation. Dr. Manuel?
I agree with everything these ladies have said as to how to fix stuff. But going back to math, there are some basic things that our kids don't know. I don't care in what math they're taking. Those basic things are the timetables. Those basic things are approximation, estimation. Those are facts that all of our kids need to know regardless of what level of math they're taking. I would love to see in a perfect world that there be some kind of remedial something that all kids take. It might be for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the basic facts of math, the basic facts of reading, like cause and effect, just to see where kids are with those basic facts. Because if you don't know those basic facts, you're going to struggle in any course in reading, any course in math, because you'd be surprised that smart kids, some of even the basic things in math, they can't read a ruler. The basic facts that you need to apply to be successful in these math courses. That's just a thought. Maybe when we start our school, this board here, we're going to start us a school, we can have a basic remedial course. Maybe it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then move the kids into those advanced math courses. Sorry about that, Superintendent.
All right, Mr. Terry Locklear, last one, then we'll let these ladies finish their presentation.
Just a question of clarity, Dr. Williamson. So what do you mean by the denominator at East Robeson's different? Because they only have 1 grade? Okay. I was just looking at like the percentage of grade level performance. Even with that 1 grade as compared to the rest of the district in that same grade, then the denominator would still be the same in that sense. But okay.
But just to note too, Dr. Locklear, is when we look at 3rd grade, now this is not about proficiency, but this is about growth. Growth only comes from 3rd grade reading in 3rd grade. We do not pick up growth from math. So also to a point, if I'm a principal of a K-3 school, I'm putting my resources in 3rd grade reading, right? Because it's going to help me with proficiency and it's also going to help boost some growth. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, ladies, go ahead and finish on with
Okay,
the packet.
so thank you. So if you have your booklet, we are going to quickly walk through. We're going to start with Deep Branch. So when you look at Deep Branch Elementary, I'm just going to orient you to the page on the top left. We have the growth index. So Deep Branch had a growth index of a negative 3.37, which means they did not meet growth this year. They remained a letter grade of D. They did increase reading in all grade levels except for 5th grade. And they did have a decline, unfortunately, in all grade levels in math except for 6th grade. So if you look at your document, you have the growth index on the top left, your school performance grade on the top right. You have your performance composite, your trend for school performance grades, and then your reading, math, science, and L progress at the bottom. So if we go to East Rob Primary, you can see that their growth index was a 3.55, which means they did exceed growth. They have a letter grade of a B. Remember, only grade level included in accountability data is 3rd grade. They did see a decrease in 3rd grade reading, and they did see a slight increase in 3rd grade math. They did have an 8-point gain in L progress. When you look at Fairmont High School, next page, growth index of 2.36, which means they exceeded growth. They are now a letter grade of C, so they moved from a D to a C. They had gains in all areas and all indicators. Fairmont Middle has a growth index of a negative 2.32. They maintained a school performance grade of an F. Fairmont Middle had gains in 5th grade and 8th grade reading. They maintained their scores in 7th grade reading. In math, they did have improvement in proficiency in 5th and 6th grade math. Fairgrove Elementary School has a growth index of a 1.64, which means they met growth. She maintained a letter grade of a D. They saw gains in fourth grade reading and in fourth grade math. At Carroll Middle School, they had a growth index of a -6, which means they did not meet growth. They maintained a school performance grade of an F. They saw gains in fourth grade reading and in fourth grade math. They also had a 9-point increase in L progress. Littlefield Middle School had a -6.99 growth index, means they did not meet growth this year. They did maintain a school performance grade of D. He increased proficiency in reading in fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth, and seventh grade. In math, they also increased in fourth grade and in sixth grade. They also saw a 5-point increase in L progress. Long Branch Elementary had a growth index of a -1.08, which means they met growth. They did maintain a school performance grade of a D. They saw gains in proficiency in third and fourth grade reading and saw an increase in third grade math. Lumberton Junior High School had a growth index of 2.02, which means they exceeded growth. He was able to move that school from an F to a D. They had gains in all grades for reading and in all areas of math except for 8th grade. They had a 14-point increase in L progress. Lumberton Senior High School had a growth index of 1.97, meaning he met growth, very close to exceeding. They maintained a school performance grade of a C, had gains in Math 1 and Math 3, and they also had an increase in their 4-year graduation rate and math course rigor. In Magnolia, they had a growth index of 1.18, which means they met growth. They have a school performance grade of a D. They saw gains in third grade reading and sixth grade reading. They also saw gains in fifth and seventh grade math. Their L progress had an 18-point increase. Orem Middle School has a growth index of a -2.81, which means they did not meet growth last year. They maintained a school performance grade of an F. They saw gains in sixth grade reading and gains in fifth grade math, sixth grade math, and seventh grade math. Oxendine Elementary had a growth index of a -0.42, which means she met growth. They had a letter grade of a C. They saw gains in fifth grade reading and third grade math and fifth grade math. Parkton has a growth index of 8.93, which means that school exceeded growth. They moved from a letter grade of an F to a school performance grade of a D. They had gains in fourth grade reading, fifth grade reading, seventh and eighth grade reading. They also saw strong gains in math in fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh grade. They had a 7.1-point increase in L progress. Pembroke Elementary School had a 1.58 growth index, meaning they met growth. They maintained a letter grade of D. They saw gains in both fourth grade reading and fifth grade reading. They also had an increase in third grade math and fifth grade math. Pembroke Middle had a -10.49 growth index. They did not meet growth this year. They maintained a school performance grade of an F. They saw gains in all grades for reading. They also had gains in seventh grade math. Dr. Emmanuel. Am I good?
Thank you. Have you had any discussion with the principal? Are you at liberty to share what?
We can tell you that basically we're meeting with all principals. We do a data dive every summer. We're continuing to do that. We're looking at teachers and grade levels. We're looking at where their areas of need are. We're looking at master schedules. We're adding in any resources we have. So we are planning and problem solving with each principal.
That is unusual for Pembroke Middle, very unusual. Thank you.
Yes. Peterson Elementary School has a growth index of a -2.13, which means they did not meet growth. They maintained a letter grade of a D. They had increases in fourth grade reading and fourth grade math. And they had a 16.9% increase in L progress. Piney Grove had a growth index of 3.73, which means they have exceeded growth. Piney Grove moved from a letter grade of an F to a C. She had an increase in fifth and sixth grade reading, as well as gains in all grade levels for math except for fifth grade. They saw a 14.7 increase in L progress.
Prospect Elementary had a growth index of 5.24, which has exceeded growth. They maintained their C. They saw an increase in fourth, fifth, sixth, and eighth grade reading, and in fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh grade math. Early College had a growth index of 2.69, exceeded growth, maintained an A, and saw an increase in Math 3. Red Springs High School had a growth index of 2.14, which has exceeded growth, moved from a D to a C, saw increase in English 2, Math 1, Math 3, Math Course Rigor, ACT Work Keys, and LEP. Rex Renard had a growth index of 2.26, which has exceeded growth. They maintained a D. They saw an increase in third and fourth grade reading and fourth grade math. They also saw an increase in ELP.
Dr.
Red-
Carr, Dr.
uh-huh.
Carr, hold on one second. Let's catch Miss Melissa Ocean real quick.
Yes.
I may need to wait until the superintendent comes back. This is more of a him. She can go ahead. This is
Go
more
ahead,
of a-
Dr. Carr.
Okay.
Of a
Okay.
him thing.
Red Springs Middle has a growth index of -5, which is not met, maintained an F. They saw an increase in seventh grade reading and fifth grade reading, and saw an increase in fifth grade and seventh grade math, and an increase in English language learners proficiency. Rosenwald Elementary had a growth index of -2.92 that is not met, maintained an F, saw increase in third grade reading and third and fourth grade math. Roland Normant had a -1.61 growth index, which is met, maintained a D, and saw an increase in ELP. St. Paul's Elementary had a growth index of -2.94, which is not met, maintained an F, and saw an increase in third and fourth grade math and ELP. St. Paul's High had a growth index of 3.41, which has exceeded growth, maintained a C, saw an increase in Math 1 and 3, and ELP and graduation rate. St. Paul's Middle had a growth index of -3.91, which is not met, maintained an F, had an increase in fifth, sixth, and seventh grade reading and seventh grade math and English language proficiency. Tanglewood Elementary had a growth index of 1.33, which is maintained a C, and increase in third grade reading and math and ELP. Southside Ashpole had a growth index of 1.92, which is met growth, maintained a D, saw an increase in third and fourth grade reading and third and fourth grade math. Townsend Elementary had a growth index of -0.27, which is met growth, maintained an F, saw increase in third and fifth grade reading. Union Chapel had a growth index of 3.7, which is exceeded growth, maintained a D, saw increase in every grade level in reading, and saw an increase in every grade level except fourth grade in math, and saw an increase in ELP. Union Elementary had a growth index of 2.69, which has exceeded growth. They maintained a C and saw growth increase in all grade levels in reading and in math. W.H. Knuckles had a growth index of -2.64, which is not met, maintained a D, and saw an increase in third grade math and ELP. Purnell Sweat had a growth index of -4.37, which is not met, maintained a C, saw an increase in English 2, Math 1, Math 3, graduation rate, Math Course Rigor, ACT Work Keys, and ELP. And South Robb saw a growth index of 4.21, which has exceeded growth, moved from an F to a D, and saw an increase in 6th and 8th grade reading in every grade level in math and an increase in ELP.
All right, Ms. Melissa Ocean, go ahead.
So, and my question is, and I think this is probably better answered by the superintendent. We had a conversation maybe 2 years ago regarding these test scores and those schools that continue to be low performing. And the leaders that are leading these buildings have remained the same, essentially in my district. What kind of changes can we make? Because this is starting to be, right now for me, this is trending. It's not getting any better. Every year I'm seeing the same schools on this list.
The state provides for those schools who are not meeting growth that first step is to put them on an improvement plan. We've done that. At some point when they hit year 4, and then we may have to make a decision about leadership to replace. So we're on that timeline of improvement, and we track that every year.
So in the meantime, they get 4 years to tank these scores?
Yes.
Okay.
Not to tank the score, but to improve them.
Okay. I'm not seeing any improvement, Dr. Williams.
Well,
not that we need to, it's the same schools every time we get results. It's like they're either getting worse or they're just remaining the same.
Part of that, and we're certainly not making excuses for anybody, is the formula itself that does not weigh growth. When you look at the tremendous amount of growth, it only counts 20%. Proficiency is 80%. So that's part of the problem that we're dealing with. We every year have grown, tripled in some areas, but still it's that proficiency, or 80-20 formula.
I congratulate any growth that the district sees. I'm excited about it. But every time I look at these ifs, my stomach balls up because it makes me think we're missing something somewhere.
We're going through the process, and unless we see the change when we get to that point, then.
All right.
If you look at the tabulated letter scores on our second page here, since 2023 for A's and B's, we're essentially at the same level. But if you look at F's, we have 3 list schools that are on the F list, and we've maybe added 1 to the D list or 2 to the D list and another one to the C list. There's been a little bit of movement. So if we just look at the entirety of the tabulated scores, they look a little bit better than they did in 2023. But what I would like to see is, if you look at this the index, the indicator that you were mentioning earlier, I would love to highlight that entire column and find out what that number is for the entire district. What is our average for the district?
There is no average for the district. The state does not do that.
I'm asking for our purposes.
But each one so growth is figured by each child and very differently. We can't do an average because that is not how that is figured per school. It is comparisons completely based on how children perform with similar demographics at each school. So each school is even compared a little different based on their personal demographics. So it would not be advantageous or even fair to the district to just do an average. Because the growth index is not a straight, this is how you figure it out, unfortunately.
That don't make sense to me. We're sitting here looking at each school, and each one of them has an index. Each one of them has a letter grade associated with them. So you're telling me that as a board member, looking at this data in its entirety, it would not be fair to evaluate or discuss at a high level the average index for the district?
That would be a total different comparison. Literally with the state and how they figure growth is literally per child, and it would be a comparison. Each school is compared to different schools and different students.
Well, if that's the case, then there shouldn't be an index for Deep Branch. If you're saying that it's different for each child.
It's based on individual children, so they do a growth. Mr. Bobby, do you want to explain that? It's a scale score. It is not just a straight number. Virginia averages, yeah.
Chairman Britt, Dr. Williamson, board members again. So it is impossible to create a district average for growth. There is a district index for each subject. So we can tell you what the district index is for reading, what the district index is for math. We can tell you what everything else is. But to just simply average those numbers together and say, this is the district growth for all subjects, that's impossible, because for EOCs or any test that's not administered consecutive, EVOS or SAS uses a predictive method. So they calculate growth for end of course differently than the way it's calculated for end of grade. So again, all we would do there, again, as Dr. Carr stated, it would be unfair to add all of those numbers up and just average them and say this is the district average. But we can produce district average per subject. That is allowed, or that is a report that's available.
Thank you.
Mr. Bradley Phillips. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Erica.
I apologize. I also wanted to add that to complicate it even further for the performance bonuses that the teachers receive. So a lot of the teachers believe that if their school met or exceeded growth, that they're automatically going to receive the performance bonus, but they drill down even further. And while there is a district, a school index, each individual teacher receives their own index. And that is what qualifies them. And they're compared to other teachers in the same grade across the state. And that's what qualifies them for the performance bonus. So it gets very granular when looking at the index for individual teachers. Thank you.
Mr. Bradley Phillips.
Oh.
Shows to me your mic is on.
There we go. Dr. Williams, how many schools are on the four-year plan or program or whatever the terminology is?
9.
Can you give us a list of those? Maybe not at this moment, but can you? Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Crystal.
I'm sorry. So the 9, when is the 4 years started? Are they all different? Like,
Yes.
so they are.
Yes.
So, okay. So what happens after so even though the letter grade, and I think I talked about this before. So even though the letter grade stays in an F for 3 years, we have to wait till the 4th year before you can make any changes.
Other than we put them on an improvement plan.
And if you do that, just say for a year or two, and it still hasn't improved.
Right. Then what the law says, then one of the options is to replace the principal. And we'll consider it.
And you can do that within the 4 years, or it has to be the
At the
4
end.
years?
At
At
the
the
end.
end.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
It could be done within the 4 years. It has to be done at the end of the cycle. Yes.
Just an outside mind looking in, it just feels like if we're waiting 4 years, especially at an elementary environment, we're really setting somebody up for failure. Just, that's my opinion. I don't know if that's more along the state lines or our lines, or if there's something we can do, especially at some of these schools that's performing in that capacity year after year, like something needs to be done.
Well, one of the things that we've added is the principal coaches, and we have 5 that works with the principal, trained in relay leverage leadership to help them understand the data, help them to understand lesson design. So again, we're monitoring and we're working with all those individuals. We need to go through the process. All those 9 did show growth. Our focus this year is on some subgroups part of the 9 designated because of one subgroup. So we drill down and we look at all of that to help make decisions in terms of when and what we do.
So at those schools that you guys are coaching more, the Title I interventionist money that they're using, are we kind of dictating where they're spending that to make sure they're putting it in the grades that they need it in?
Yeah, I mean, that goes to the point when we talked about problem solving, is we're looking at where those additional resources need to be layered in, right? So if a school, and you can see clear patterns at schools, right? Some of them 4th grade reading and math strong, but 5th grade wasn't. So we look at that data and we also drill down to the teacher levels that we know that's a grade level we need to focus on. So that's where any additional supports we can get, that's where they need to be. But I do want to speak to the point, like as a principal, when I'm coming into a school to the 80-20, if I'm coming into a school that has a grade level proficiency of a 20 or a 25, it is going to take time to move that school. Because of that 80% comes from that number, it takes time to move a school 10 percentage points when it comes to grade level proficiency. Across the district, to get 1 percentage point gain, we need to pick up almost 300 students. So it's a big push. So I'm just advocating for principals. It is a time thing. We all want it to be faster. Trust me, I'm with you, right? But it does take time to put everything in place. And every year, it is a different year. It's different staff possibly, it's different students, you have different deficits. So it is truly problem solving every year. No year do you get to replicate and say, oh, we're going to do exactly what we did last year and get the exact same results. So I hear everyone's point, but I also want to say as a principal, we need to give them time. We need to give them the support. But yes, there does come a time.
Yep, there does.
Right. But we need to make sure that we don't want to not have good principals want to go into a school that has a low proficiency score because, hey, I don't want to be on that list, right? We want to make sure that we keep our support broad, that we can get teachers and principals into those schools. So I say just have to be cautious with that.
And so, and I'll finish after this. So let's just say we know 5th grade is a problem at ABC school. What are we doing as far as behind the scenes to keep folks in those positions instead of running them away or letting them leave for whatever reason?
It's about support. It's truly about support, Mr. Phillips. Most teachers will stay if they can because there's not some other, variable. It's about the support that we give. So we're working on building those professional learning communities. We're working on layering and planning meetings, data meetings, making sure we're going in and giving real-time feedback so you don't feel like I've been left alone, nobody's helping me. We're trying to layer in those supports so that teachers have that mechanism to keep them growing.
And to also think, is that the best fit for that teacher, right? Sometimes 5th grade may
agree.
not
Yep.
be the right grade level for you, or the content may not be your right fit. So helping principals and teachers look at that data to determine if I'm not very strong at reading, but I'm great at math, maybe I'm the math teacher for that grade level instead of the reading teacher, because that is where my strength is. So working on the strengths of those teachers to also help our schools get the best out of each person.
Bradley, are you done? All right, let's catch Mr. Terry and Miss Melissa, and if no more questions, we're going to move it on. Mr. Terry.
Let me just say that I'm speaking for me, and I think all of the board members would concur that we are not coming down on teachers. We thank the teachers for everything that they do, their hard work in the classroom. I've never been a teacher, but I feel like I've been around schools all my life. My mama was a teacher. I'm married to one, so it's a large part of our conversation at home, just believe me. These numbers, letters are not indicative of what goes on every day in a classroom. One of the ways that I feel like that we could better support our teachers is by dealing with, and I hear it not just anecdotally, but when speaking to numerous individuals across the county, one of the things that they discuss is chronic absenteeism. So Mr. Schwartz, from a legal perspective, maybe Dr. Williamson, what can we do that we're not doing now to deal a little bit better with the absentees with that problem that we have throughout the district? Are we utilizing all of our resources or pulling all the levers that we have to deal with that?
We are, our family and community engagement. We had that conversation with parents, our social workers in the building. Jessica, in fact, we're gonna run a news article either this week or next week where we ask parents to really help us with that particular issue. It's a major problem at elementary, especially kids that show up late, they don't drive, so that issue. But that is a major concern. I think in the article we'll show the attendance percentage daily by school. But that's an issue, but we're doing everything we can to encourage kids to come and parent. It's also a concern, which we spent $6 million in sub money last year. That's a concern. That's a concern for us. So it's a national dilemma in terms of what you just addressed.
So it sounds like that's the carrot, the carrot is that we're offering support and family engagement nights and that sort of thing. But what do we have as far as the stick?
As far as the stick, you've got the compulsory attendance laws, and it's up to the principal and the school social workers to make sure those are being properly enforced and enforced in a timely manner. Now, of course, that ends up going to ultimately to the courts, to the district attorney for a decision on whether or not to prosecute under compulsory attendance laws.
What does compulsory attendance, how many days or hours or whatever do you have to get before that kicks in?
You get, I always have to look it up. You got 6 days, was it 6 days? And
We do a 3, 6, and 10.
3, 6, and 10. After 10, it can be prosecuted.
3 days, 6 days, and 10 days?
Absentee, we send
Days.
notification.
What was that? Oh.
Miss Melissa Ocean, go ahead.
Okay, and this is my last comment regarding this, and it was not anything against any leaders in the building. My only thing is that as a district, I just want to see us do better. I know that it takes time to make anything work. This is a large district and we have a lot of moving parts. So my thing isn't to come down on any one person, but I do want to ensure that we are coming down on the people that need to have talks with, because we have some leaders that come to lead and others are just coming. And that's, I'm tired of it. Just to be honest, it's like we as a district have come a long way from where we started. And I want to continue to see us going forward. And within that vein, everybody has to be willing to move forward. And at this point, if they're not willing to move forward, then we need to move on without them.
Dr. Williamson, go ahead.
Can I elaborate? I'm sorry. Good.
Mr. Schwartz, go ahead.
As far as the compulsory attendance, that's unexcused absences. That's not excused absences. And even after the 10 days, the principal has to make a determination whether or not the parent has made a good faith effort to comply with the law before referring.
Dr. Williamson.
Deb, have y'all finished?
Yes, sir.
Great. I'm going to echo what's already been said. One, how much we do appreciate the work of all of our employees every single day. The instructional leadership of our principals is incredible. We have a tremendous number of new beginning principals and a very complicated system trying to do the work that we need to address every individual child need as much as possible. So I say thank you to all of our principals, our APs, our academic coaches, to our teachers, bus drivers, just all the employees. We have grown over the last 5 years. It is incredible where we've grown. We're not where we need to be, but we are beginning to approach the last part of this work, and that is how do we sustain it? Once we get to that point, how do we sustain this work? And that is already happening in the system. I also want to say thank you to Central Service staff. I would dare to say and be correct that our buildings have more support now than they've ever had. And no, that's true. The other part of it is thank you, board, for your support and this work. We'll continue to push. We are scheduled next Monday, next week. We're going to meet with every principal and have that conversation. I've already started that. Been clear with principal in terms of your leadership or whatever the need is. It's got to change so that we can move this. But I want to say thank you to everybody. We had a tremendous year last year. We're continuing. We opened school. We're all noticing that our kids are beginning to understand and accept our expectations for them from an academic standpoint, from a behavior standpoint. We've had almost 3 weeks of incredible school. And so again, it takes time to get us to where we want to be, but we're headed in the right direction. And we've said a couple years back, we're closing that gap faster than the state. Thank you.
Dr. Carr, Dr. Dallas, again, thank you for the job done because it took a lot, I know, to put that together, but very good job explaining. Dr. Williamson, we appreciate your leadership as well. Next on the agenda is public comments. We only have one, Mr. Andrew Fields. Mr. Andrew Fields. I take it he's not here. Okay, we'll move on to action items. The first action item is A, Hazel Health Telehealth, Dr. Sherry Herndon.
Good evening, Chairman Britt, Superintendent Dr. Williamson, and board members. I stand before you tonight with the Hazel Health item as an action item. Last month, we presented our mental health plan, which was approved, and it included Hazel Health. So I look forward to the opportunity to continue the partnership with Hazel Health. I do have some information I would like to share. Our district mental health team has looked at some information from Hazel Health, and I would like to read this information from the press release from North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. This was released on March 26th. Some of you may ask, why Hazel Health? I would like to share some data we discussed in our mental health team meeting. Hazel Health is the nation's largest provider of school-centered telehealth, and it serves over 5 million students in 18 states. A third-party study conducted by Clemson University found that 75% of students who participated in Hazel's online therapy program experienced clinically significant reductions in depression and anxiety after an average of 6 sessions. Additionally, the early research indicates that Hazel's therapy program can combat chronic absenteeism. And one data point that was mentioned in the press release, 68% of students who engaged with Hazel's therapy program improved their attendance, and over 30% who participated had 0 absences. So we look forward to, again, continuing this partnership with Hazel Health to be able to offer supplemental and even intensive intervention to our students. Some of the barriers that we have faced in this district include transportation issues. Some of our families have transportation issues. Cost has also been a barrier. Approval, which may take up to several weeks, and also the mental health stigma. And we want our families and our community to realize it is okay for our students and our families to reach out for mental health services, whether it is teletherapy or whether it is face-to-face, because we want to make sure that our students' well-being or the needs are met. And so at this time, I would like to ask the board for full support as we continue to move forward with Hazel Health.
Dr. Williamson?
Mr. Chair and members, Dr. Hernan, and again, let's clarify, there is no cost tied to this service, correct?
There is not any cost tied to this service. It will be free for any student who is enrolled in the public schools of Robeson County. And also a consent will be needed to be on file for a student to participate with Hazel Health.
Hold on, Dr. May, let me get Mr. Terry had his hand raised first, and then we'll come back to you.
What
Mr.
does,
Terry.
what does one of these sessions typically look like as far as like where the student sitting and the connectivity and that sort of thing?
So we are in the beginning phases of implementation. So as we have discussions with the implementation team, we will get more details, but each school will have to have a confidential area where the teletherapy can take place.
I must have misunderstood you. I thought you said we were already working with this group.
We have begun working, having conversations with Hazel Health. We have had 2 meetings with Hazel Health as well.
Will students have access to this after hours?
Yes, they will have access to Hazel Health during the school day as well as after hours, including summers.
If somebody doesn't have if somebody has connectivity issues, what's in place for us to support those that would prefer maybe having it after hours? Or is that something we might need to talk about
That
later?
would be something that we would need to talk about with the Hazel Health implementation team.
Because like Ms. Monroe mentioned earlier, that we do have a number of students that may be, that may not have the proper tools to access this service.
And they will, again, with consent, they will have access during the school day, but then we can look at, if they do not have internet connection at home, other options.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Emmanuel?
Just a point of clarification, and the superintendent is absolutely right. There will be no cost to the district. However, so for our knowledge, page 4, number 4, they do bill. I mean, they have different ways that they collect. And like she said, that we will have a form on file that, I don't know what that form will say, but they do bill insurance, personal insurance, and any other kind of agency that may help with children that don't have insurance. So in case we hear that they're billing, so it won't be a shock to us. They do bill, which is better than not having it. And, I'm all for it. So therefore, unless there are any more questions, I'll make a motion that we accept Hazel Health. You got a question?
Hold on 1 second, Dr. Emmanuel. Dr. Emmanuel, I do made a motion.
There's already made a motion?
You can make the motion.
Okay, I think he had something.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Craig.
Okay, yeah, and I can see support in this, but I have a couple of questions. This is for our mental health program for students, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it is telehealth, so it's not people here face to face, it's through computer or electronics, okay? Do we have companies that are doing the mental health actually here, or that they're going to do it face to face, or is all the mental health program under this telehealth?
So we do have gaggle therapy, and we are working with gaggle therapy with the teletherapy at RAS, at our alternative school. As far as any of the other companies, there are not any companies that are coming into the schools to provide therapy. However, we have our mental health resource list that we are able to share with families for outside services.
So we're not doing that. Go ahead, you got a comment?
Just one additional point. We do have some MOAs or agreements with some mental health agencies where students are already receiving services outside that we collaborate to continue working. We don't pay for those, but they do have that collaboration so that we know how to support those students that are receiving some of those services.
So we don't have no contracts with companies to provide mental health services now. the telehealth will take care of this for us.
Yes, because the other one we just recommend, and that is billed through their own insurance. And then we have collaboration through them to help work with them and support the students' needs. So we have those agreements.
Is this something that if companies do become available that could offer face-to-face, is that something we look at and do later on, or is it done now and we're finished with?
That could be a conversation that we discuss at the district level in the future.
Future, okay. Thank you.
Ms. Crystal Monroe.
Oh, Dr. Emmanuel.
Mr. John Simmons.
Good evening, Dr. Harrington.
Good evening.
Why don't we have more contracts besides this Hazel? I understand Hazel is free, and I love free stuff. Back a while, Dr. Williams gave support to a company. Why don't we have local companies also doing this here?
I am not sure if any other companies have provided information or asked to come into schools for teletherapy. And again, when we look at this data, the support and the study that has been done, then I fully support Hazel Health to see what positive data we can get from the teletherapy and how it can help the students' mental health needs in our district.
So the MOAs we do have are with local companies. So the agreements we have are with approximately 20 mental health agencies that have been vetted. However, those are ones that, like we said, that is more of a collaboration between us, those students that are already receiving services, or that we may have recommended to go seek services through these companies. And then they collaborate with us to work with us, and they do come into the schools to help provide additional support. But it's a little different than what Hazel Health does.
Okay, I'm familiar with how Hazel Health works, but my question is, why haven't y'all brought any other contracts to us besides this one?
This is the partnership through the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. And this is something that has been shared in our Sand Hills regional meetings. And it has been discussed with Ms. Freeman, with Dr. Williamson. And it's something that we decided to try to gain full board support with.
Okay, I
And
get all
John,
that.
and John, let me
Sorry.
answer your question. So those MOAs is an agreement, but those companies bill the insurance. And so again, we don't invest any dollars, whether it's through Hazel Health or those MOAs. We simply authorize them to come in, work with students, and then they bill separate.
So the other companies have been coming into the schools?
Yes, yes. That's what we were just saying on those MOAs, local companies.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Henry.
Because they deal straight directly with the insurance companies, we have to look at the previous conversation we had around contracts, being that there's no monies associated through the state?
A little bit different, that discussion, because we were making direct payments. That was an approved contract with a dollar amount. The MOAs are not.
I make a motion that we approve Hazel Health as a teletherapy for our students.
I have a motion made by Dr. Emanuel, a second by Mr. Henry Brewer. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
We need to record the votes. I'm sorry. We got one opposed,
It'd be 9-1.
none. Okay. Mr. Simmons opposed.
Correct. Dr. Herndon, thanks.
Thank you.
Next up, Dr. Carr, occupational therapy contract.
Good evening once again, Chairman Britt, Superintendent Williamson, and board members. I'm seeking approval tonight to move forward with giving PTS an occupational therapist contract. We had sought and were trying to hire a district employed occupational therapist. After the last board meeting, she turned down the position and would not come to our district. We currently have one full-time face-to-face that we contract with, one part-time, one full-time virtual OT. We also reached out to the hospital and were not able to get any further with the hospital. So based on that, currently, we have 16 schools that have no services and 110 students that are not receiving services, which puts us into trying to get comparable services and have to do make-up services once we get a contract with somebody. So we are seeking to try to get PTS to help support us in getting an OT and 2 CODAs, which are 2 assistants to help support that work.
And Dr. Carter, I'd have missed that. How many students and how many schools?
16 schools, and I have the list in the packet, and 110 students total that currently have no services being provided.
Dr. Terry Locklear.
So looking at the cover letter you sent, it says that, okay, we currently have a full-time face-to-face, 1 part-time, and 1 full-time virtual OT, okay? This says we're looking to hire 1 full-time OT and 2 full-time certified OT assistants.
Correct.
Will these 3 individuals be virtual or face-to-face?
Face-to-face. We did not want any virtual if possible. So this is a face-to-face contract only.
Are these individuals, would they be being paid the same thing that our current ones are?
They're pretty much comparable. Most contracts ask for the same amount, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. They're pretty much within $1 or 2 of each
Okay,
other.
okay,
Yes.
okay,
So
thank you.
they're very close.
Well, what kind of bidding process did we go through with this?
We opened up just like we did with anybody else to apply, and this is the only company at this point. And we've opened up applications since the very first when something opened. We've only had 1 single applicant, and that's the one we tried to hire. So at this point, we have no other options available to us.
You're not required to bid this.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Terry, to answer that, I actually checked with a couple speech companies as well with OT, and they're just either booked or can't fulfill it. It's just bottom line to it, and we're kind of behind the 8 ball with it, so we need to get these services rolling. Ms. Christy Fields.
So who will supervise or oversee the work of the occupational therapist assistants?
The OT has to do the first oversight, so they have to be the ones that sign off on the IEPs and all the data, but PTS also provides individual support and somebody that comes to campus to help make sure the work that they're doing is aligned with everything. And then we also review all the billing and all the documentation, just like the EC teachers observe those teachers providing our OT, just like anybody else provide those services to our students.
You said who is we that's supervising the payments?
The payments, the district office. So
the occupational therapist has to not only review their work, but they've got to review the assistants initially?
And then, but PTS and with this company will provide oversight on all the billing for them. And that is the normal process with every OT.
Dr. Emmanuel.
In my opinion, the central office has exhausted all means, and we have to serve these children. So subsequently, I'm going to offer a motion that we go with PTS so these children can receive the services, because they have tried. I remember recommending for them to contact the hospital, and they've done everything that I know of to do. So I recommend make a motion that they be allowed to hire PTS so they can offer services to these children.
So motion is to approve the contract?
Yes, sir.
I got a motion by Dr. Emmanuel, a second by Mr. Craig Lowry. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carr. Next up is sole source, notable CAMI letters. Ms. Erica Setzer.
Good evening, Chairman Britt, Superintendent Dr. Williamson, and board members. You will find in your packet a sole source information document for a notable CAMI, and we added to the agenda tonight. It came up after the packets went out. The Lexi letters training, which is state mandated and a requirement from the state for language essentials for teachers of reading and spelling, science of reading. And I placed a copy of that at your desk this evening for your review, and I can answer any questions anyone has about either sole source request.
Dr. Terry Locklear.
So we're looking at purchasing 24,544 units of this notable.
Cammy?
Can you just tell us a little bit more about what it does? It looks like a PDF annotation tool.
So it helps them. So Cami, this would be a per student purchase and all your staff that uses it. And so what it does is able us to have translations for our students. It allows us to edit PDFs for our students. So it's really a tool to help students access some of the curriculum. And so you can upload any resource that you're using to help with translation, annotations, any of those types of things. And so this is one of our ways to help ensure that we meet ADA compliance when we think about meeting our students' needs.
Did we explore any other tools?
We have looked at several, and some of them are too cost prohibitive. And so this is a tool that teachers have really enjoyed and have used over the last several years. We started using it prior to COVID. And so this has been one that they have over and over requested that we continue to help support the work that they're doing. And it has a high usage rate too when we look at it.
Thank you.
Per our school board attorney, we're gonna need two separate motions on this, one for Cammy, one for the letters that was put there today. Dr. Emanuel?
What funds are we, Miss Erica, are we paying this?
Cammy is coming out of low wealth funding.
And what about letters?
Letters is coming out of 016, which is the allotment from the state to covers the science of reading
Okay,
requirements.
I'll take letters. I make a motion that we purchase letters in compliance with the state's requirements.
I have a motion by Dr. Emanuel to the letters contract, a second by Mr. Henry Brewer. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Mr. Craig Lowry?
I was gonna make a motion that we approve the purchase of the letters.
Cammy.
Cammy, I'm sorry, Cammy.
Approve the purchase of Cammy. A motion is made by Mr. Craig Lowry, a second by Mr. Henry Brewer. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous.
Thank you.
Ms. Setzer?
Next, we have a school fundraisers that should have been included in your packet. I can answer any questions about any of the fundraisers presented.
I
Dr.
make a
Emanuel, go ahead.
motion that we approve the fundraisers as presented.
I have a motion made by Dr. Emanuel, a second by Ms. Crystal Monroe. All those in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous. Ms. Erica Setzer, monthly financial report.
Also included in your packet, I can answer any questions about the monthly financial report. We recently received our state allocation, so we'll be moving forward soon with the finance committee meeting to discuss the operating budget for the year.
Ms. Christie Fields?
007 instructional support, what are we paying on that line item?
So instructional support is a position allocation where you can pay for media specialists, you can pay for nurses, you can pay for social workers, guidance counselors, all of the people who aren't considered in the classroom. They're the certified instructional support staff.
And which line item are we paying for travel? For plane flights, conferences for our staff? What line item is that pulled from?
So if it's certified staff, most of that comes out of your federal allocation, PRC 103. But federal funds don't allow you to pay for any food for any trips. So we also use DSSF under state allotment 024. So it could also be used for travel. We also use PRC 069 for travel as well. PRC 069 and DSSF 024 in your state allocations, and 103 is in your federal allocations.
You said 069.
DSSF 024. And then in federal, PRC 103, Title II. 069 is state, yes, sir, at-risk funding.
Okay.
Ms.
thank
Christie
you.
Fields, got any questions, more questions? Bradley?
Under capital outlays, 9302 vehicles. Is that maintenance vehicles by chance? The reason why I ask, I'm under the impression we're down like 4 or 5 maintenance vehicles. One that was wrecked over a year ago. Our person's not at fault. We receive a check and we're not replacing vehicles. So we've got people doubled up. Like, do we have funds to purchase vehicles, whether they're new or used, to replace damaged and broke vehicles that we have?
So that's kind of a loaded question. Do we have funding to replace vehicles? We have funding, but at the time, we're still trying to deal with the ESSER issue that we're having. We've got our first reimbursement, by the way. So what we've been doing right now and immediately is using all of our additional capital funding to support the ESSER till we can get reimbursed. In a typical year, we set aside $250,000 to update the maintenance vehicles. We haven't done that yet this year. But we do plan on moving forward. So there'll be an assessment done by Mr. Bobby and his team to see where the needs are. Like you've indicated, we've had some issues with vehicles being damaged and so forth. And as you know, we don't get enough funding back most of the time for those vehicles because we're treated just like anybody else. You get whatever the Kelly Blue Book value is for those vehicles. And as you know, that's not enough in most cases to buy those new vehicles.
Chairman Britt, Dr. Williamson, board members, and to add to the conversation, in a period of just a few months last year, we lost 3 vehicles, either was to wrecks that were our fault or someone else's fault. So out of that, I think we might have collected less than $10,000 out of 3 vehicles that were totaled. At that point, Hugh did order a replacement vehicle that was on state contract. It is scheduled to come in. We still don't have a time frame for that vehicle to come in. So again, most of our vehicles are older. And so if they are damaged, getting an accident and they're totaled, we're not getting but a couple of $1,000s for those vehicles. And we do purchase off a state contract. So it could be a period of 6 to 10 months before a vehicle is available off of that state contract.
Now, do we have to purchase new to replace? And the reason why I asked last year, I think we talked about it, there was a van that was totaled. We got $20-ish thousand back, if I remember right. Like, could we not replace that with a used vehicle?
After the hurricane, it is to my knowledge, we did go out and purchase used. That was just simply to get our fleet replenished, but typically we do not. We try to stay with new vehicles off of the state contract.
Mr. Bobby, while I'm there and I'm thinking of it too, I will tell you, there is a blue Terrain that is a maintenance vehicle.
Yes.
I would love to see that hood fixed because that has PSRC on the side, if you understand what I'm
Yes.
saying. We can work on that. I would appreciate it. Mr. John Simmons.
If nobody don't have any questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I got a motion by Mr. John Simmons, a second by Mr. Henry Brewer. All those in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
I move that the Board of Education for the Public Schools of Robeson County go into closed session for the purposes of discussing certified and classified personnel, North Carolina General Statutes 143 through 318.11A1 and 6, and to consult with the attorney retained by the board in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the Board of Education for the Public Schools of Robeson County, North Carolina General Statutes 143 through 318.11A13.
I have a motion made by Ms. Melissa Oceans, a second by Mr. John Simmons. All those in favor say aye. We're now in closed session.
Come out of closed session.
I have a motion by Mr. Craig Lowry to come out of closed session. I have a second by Mr. Bradley Phillips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous? Ms. Oceans and Mr. Leach.
That's 9-0.
Correct. Motion to approve certified and classified personnel as presented or revised. I have a motion by Miss Crystal Monroe, second by Mr. Craig Lowry. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Unanimous again. Motion to approve closed session minutes of August the 12th. Motion been made by Mr. Craig Lowry, second by Mr. Bradley Phillips. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Are we good? Mr. Craig.
Got a question, Dr. Williamson or whoever, this fall leadership comp thing this year, September 16th, who's doing that?
That is North Carolina School Boards Association, and it's their normal regional meeting,
this year?
and we're hosting, yes.
So people from the state school board will be actually doing the presentation?
Not for this one, it'll be North Carolina School Boards Association, and some of their members will.
Will come here to do this, that's what I'm saying, that
Right.
date. And we can come,
Mhm.
and we can come to that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's regional for school boards.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Look for good, anybody be here that could?
If you can. You know, over the years, that has declined from what it used to be, so.
Clarification. Mr. Superintendent, you didn't make it clear. Is this a meeting for you people in your level, or is it something we need to come to?
It's what the North Carolina School Board Association, they hold it every year, those regional meetings.
Yes,
And
sir.
so it's intended for school board members in the Sand Hill region to come.
Thank you.
Yes. Also, we did place at your site, we will have a visit from State Superintendent Mo Green on September the 29th. He'll start at UNCP. We'll move from there to the new career center, from there to Robeson Community College. And then we'll be at the board where we'll have supper. And from that, he would roll out his strategic plan at Leamington Senior High School. And so you're welcome to come to all of that, to the supper if you can.
16, 19, and 29.
Anybody got anything else? Reminder, next Friday, 12 to 5, we'll be here for the board retreat. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion's been made by Ms. Crystal Monroe, second by Mr. Craig Lowry. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's